On the vast map of Earth, there exists a land where time itself feels ancient, where the wind does not simply blow. It whispers stories older than memory. This is Africa, not just a continent, but the very origin of life's greatest story. Here, every shadow hides a secret, every horizon carries silence, and every sunrise begins a new struggle for survival. If Earth's history were written as a book, Africa would be its first chapter. It is here that humanity took its first breath. Scientists believe that the earliest human ancestors walked these lands millions of years ago. Where evolution shaped the foundation of who we are today, ancient valleys, dry plains, and towering mountains stand as silent witnesses to the moment life became aware of itself. The soil here is not just dust, it is memory. Africa is a continent of extremes. On one side lies the mighty Sahara Desert, a vast ocean of sand where the sun burns relentlessly. By day, the heat is unforgiving, so intense that the air itself seems to shimmer with fire. And by night, the same land turns cold, almost lifeless in this place. Silence is not empty, it is overwhelming. Each grain of sand carries a story of lost travelers, forgotten paths, and creatures that vanished without a trace. And yet, in the heart of this same continent, life takes on a different form. Endless golden grasslands stretch beyond the horizon, swaying gently with the wind. These are the savanna here. The land breathes. These plains are not peaceful. They are alive with tension. An unspoken battlefield where survival is tested every single moment. As the first light of dawn breaks across the horizon, Africa awakens. There is a tension in the air. An invisible signal that the day's struggle has begun. Under the shade of a lone tree, African lion watches silently over its territory. Its eyes do not reflect calm, but authority not far away. African elephant moves slowly with its herd, massive yet gentle. Each step it takes shakes the ground. Yet its purpose is simple: to protect, to survive, to lead. And then, hidden within the tall grass, tiger waits, still, focused, calculating one movement, and it explodes into motion. Faster than the eye can follow. Here, hesitation means death. Precision means survival. In Africa, there is only one rule: survive or disappear. There are no second chances. A gazelle approaching water is not just quenching thirst. It is stepping into uncertainty, because near the water, danger always waits. Every sound matters. Every movement counts. This is not just life. This is a constant test of instinct, speed, and awareness. In a land where dryness can mean death, water becomes the most powerful force of all. And in Africa, that force flows through its rivers. The most legendary of them all, Nile River. This is not just a river. It is a lifeline for thousands of years. It has nourished civilizations, shaped cultures, and sustained life in one of the harshest regions on Earth. But water here is not just life. It is also danger. Beneath the surface, unseen predators wait in silence, ready to strike in a single decisive moment. Africa is not only defined by light, but also by its shadows. Deep within the continent lies one of the most mysterious places on Earth. The Congo rainforest here. The trees are so dense that sunlight barely touches the ground. Every step echoes with unknown sounds. Every shadow holds the possibility of something unseen. Life here does not reveal itself easily. It hides, adapts, and survives in silence. This is a world still not fully understood, where nature keeps its secrets hidden beneath layers of green. Africa is not static. It is alive. It breathes through its landscapes, shifts with its seasons, and transforms with time. Rain can turn dry land into paradise, and its absence can turn abundance into struggle. Everything here is temporary. Everything here is earned. Africa, it is not just a place on Earth. It is a force. It is where life first rose from silence, where every creature carries a story, and where every story is a fight to exist. It reminds us of something deeper, something we often forget, no matter how far we have come. No matter how advanced we believe we are, deep inside us, that same wild instinct still lives. Because the truth is, our story began here. As the sun rises higher over Africa, the land begins to reveal its true rulers. Not humans, not cities, but beasts. This is a world where power is not claimed by words, but by strength, speed, and instinct across the endless plains of the savanna. Life is constantly moving. Herds travel in silence, eyes alert, ears listening to the faintest sound, because here, danger is never far. In the distance, a group of zebra moves together, their black and white patterns blending into a hypnotic illusion. It is their defense, their way of confusing predators. But even illusion cannot always save them. Watching from the tall grass, barely visible, is the true king of this land. The African lion. It does not rush. It does not panic. It waits, because in Africa, patience is as deadly as power. The lion studies its prey, every movement calculated. The wind direction, the distance, the weakness in the herd, everything matters. And then, in a sudden explosion of force, it strikes. Dust rises, hooves thunder. The silence is shattered. For a few seconds, the entire world becomes chaos. And then, it is over. This is the law of the wild. There is no cruelty here, only survival. Not far away, another hunter prepares for its moment. Unlike the lion, it does not rely on strength, but on speed. The cheetah, built like a living weapon. Its body is designed for one purpose: to run when it moves. It becomes something almost unreal, a blur of motion, a force of nature. It locks onto its target. One heartbeat, two, and then it sprints. In seconds, it reaches speeds faster than any other land animal. The chase is short, intense, and unforgiving. There is no endurance here, only perfection if it fails. It may not get another chance, because in this kingdom, even the hunters can starve. But Africa is not only about predators. There is another kind of power here, quiet, steady, and unstoppable. The African elephant. moving like a living mountain. It shapes the land itself. Trees bend, paths open, and the earth trembles beneath its feet. Yet despite its immense strength, it is not a creature of violence. It is a creature of memory, of family, of deep, unspoken bonds. An elephant herd is not just a group, it is a legacy. They protect their young with fierce determination. If danger approaches, they do not run. They stand together, and in that moment, even the fiercest predators think twice. As the day stretches on, the balance of power continues to shift. Near the rivers, where life gathers, danger multiplies. The water seems calm, almost inviting, but beneath the surface, still as stone, waits the Nile crocodile. It does not chase, it does not warn. It waits hours, sometimes days, without movement, and when the moment comes, it strikes with terrifying precision. One snap, one pull, and the river takes another life in the sky above. The kingdom extends even further, circling high in the air. The African fish eagle watches everything below. Its sharp eyes miss nothing. From great heights, it can spot the slightest movement in the water, and when it dives, it does so with absolute certainty. Even the skies are ruled by hunters. As evening approaches, the rhythm of Africa begins to change. The golden light fades and shadows grow longer. This is when a different kind of predator emerges. The spotted hyena, often misunderstood, often feared. It is one of the most intelligent hunters of the wild. It does not rely on speed like the cheetah, or raw power like the lion. It relies on strategy, working in groups, communicating through eerie calls that echo across the plains. They coordinate their movements with precision. They are not just scavengers, they are survivors of the highest order. And sometimes, even lions step aside. Because in numbers, there is power, night falls completely. The land that once burned under the sun now cools under a sky filled with stars. But the kingdom of beasts does not sleep. In the darkness, eyes glow, movements become quieter, more deliberate. Every sound is amplified. Every shadow matters. Some creatures hunt. Others hide, some live, others don't make it to the next sunrise. And yet, this is not chaos. This is balance. Every predator controls the population of prey. Every prey challenges the strength of the predator. It is a system perfected over millions of years, a system where nothing is wasted and nothing is guaranteed. This is Africa's true kingdom. Not built by kings or empires, but by instinct, survival, and the unbreakable will to live. And as the night deepens, one truth becomes clear. In this land, you are never truly safe. You are only alive. As the story of Africa continues, the landscape shifts once again into one of the harshest environments on Earth. A world where life is stretched to its absolute limits. This is the realm of the vast Sahara Desert. Here, the sun does not simply shine. It dominates. During the day, the sand becomes burning hot, and the air shimmers as if the world is melting. At night, the temperature drops sharply, turning the same land into a freezing silence. Nothing here is stable. Everything is extreme, and yet, life survives. One of the most iconic survivors of this land is the dromedary camel. It moves slowly across the dunes, carrying strength in its silence. Its body is built for survival, able to endure long periods without water, and strong enough to walk across shifting sand without losing balance. In a place where most creatures struggle to exist, the camel continues as if the desert is just another road. But the desert is not only ruled by large animals, it is also home to creatures that live in silence, hidden from sight. The fennec fox is one of them, small in size, but perfectly adapted to the heat. It survives by resting during the day and hunting at night. Its oversized ears are not just for hearing. They help release heat from its body. It does not challenge the desert. It becomes part of it. In the open sand, another hunter moves with quiet patience. The horned viper lies almost invisible beneath the surface. Only its eyes remain exposed. It does not chase its prey. It does not rush. It waits. Hours pass, sometimes an entire day. And when a small animal finally comes close enough, the strike happens in less than a second. In the desert, speed is not everything. Timing is everything. Even the sky belongs to survivors. High above the burning land, the lanner falcon patrols the air. It scans the ground with incredible vision, searching for the slightest movement. When it spots prey, it dives with controlled precision, cutting through the hot air like a blade. In the desert, even the sky is not safe, near rare patches of vegetation. Another small but important survivor appears. The desert hedgehog. It comes out at night when temperatures drop. It feeds quietly on insects, always alert, always ready to curl into a protective ball if danger appears. It survives not through strength, but through caution. And sometimes, in the most unexpected places, life gathers. Around hidden water sources, desert animals come together. Gazelles, birds, insects, all drawn by the same fragile promise of water. But these places are never truly safe, because where life gathers, predators follow. Even a single moment of distraction can change everything. The desert itself is always changing. Wind reshapes the dunes every day. Tracks disappear within hours. Paths that once seemed clear are erased without warning. It is a land that does not allow permanence. Despite all of this, life refuses to leave. Every creature here has one thing in common: adaptation. The camel stores energy and water. The fox avoids heat by becoming nocturnal. The viper conserves energy by waiting. The falcon masters the sky. Each one has learned the same lesson in different ways. Survival is not about fighting the desert. It is about understanding it. As night falls over the Sahara, the world changes again. The heat fades, the silence deepens, the stars appear brighter than anywhere else on Earth. And in that quiet darkness, the desert breathes differently. Animals begin to move. Life awakens again. But nothing is ever fully at rest here, because even in the night, the desert is watching, always waiting, always testing. In this harsh land, survival belongs not to the strongest, but to those who adapt, endure, and never stop moving forward. Because in the deserts of Africa, even life itself is a negotiation with death. As we move deeper into Africa, the harsh deserts begin to fade, and the land transforms once again. This time, it is not emptiness that dominates, but abundance, a world so dense, so alive, that light itself struggles to reach the ground. This is the realm of deep rivers and endless green, the hidden heart of Africa. At the center of this hidden world lies one of the most powerful ecosystems on Earth, the vast Congo rainforest. Here, the air is heavy with moisture. The trees rise endlessly. Forming a green ceiling that blocks the sky. Beneath them, the ground is dark, damp, and constantly shifting with life. Unlike the desert, nothing here is quiet. Everything moves, everything breathes, everything watches. Rivers cut through this dense world like veins of life. One of the most important is the Great Congo River. It flows with incredible force, carrying water, nutrients, and life through the heart of the forest. For thousands of years, it has shaped civilizations, fed ecosystems, and created pathways through an otherwise unreachable wilderness. But this river is not just a source of life. It is also a place of danger, just beneath its surface. One of the most powerful predators of Africa waits silently. The Nile crocodile, it does not chase. It does not warn. It simply waits, perfectly still. Blending into the water like a shadow, a thirsty animal approaches the riverbank. The water looks calm, safe, inviting, but in a fraction of a second, everything changes. A sudden explosion of movement, a violent pull. Silence again in the jungle. Even water is not harmless. Above the river, life takes a different form. Colorful birds move between branches. Insects fill the air with constant sound, and high in the canopy, primates swing through the trees with intelligence and agility. One of them is the chimpanzee, highly intelligent, social, and expressive. Chimpanzees live in complex communities. They communicate, cooperate, and even use tools to solve problems in this forest. Intelligence is as important as strength. Deeper in the forest, another silent presence moves carefully through the shadows. The forest elephant, smaller than its savanna relative, but equally powerful. It moves through dense vegetation with quiet authority. It clears paths, creates openings in the forest, and shapes the environment around it. Even in silence, it leaves an impact. But not all life here is large or visible. Insects dominate the hidden world beneath leaves, inside bark, and under the soil. Ant colonies build massive underground systems. Butterflies fill rare sunlight gaps with color. Beetles recycle the forest floor, turning decay into new life. Here, even the smallest creatures play a vital role in maintaining balance. At night, the jungle transforms completely. The darkness becomes thicker than anywhere else on Earth. Sounds grow louder, movement becomes more cautious. Eyes appear in the dark, some glowing, some barely visible. Predators begin to move. Among them is the leopard, silent, powerful, and incredibly adaptable. It is one of the few predators that thrives in both forest and savanna. In the jungle, it uses the trees as highways, moving above the ground while hunting or resting. It does not need noise, it only needs precision. And yet, despite the danger, life here is abundant. Plants grow in layers, vines climb endlessly. Flowers bloom in hidden spaces where light barely reaches. Everything is connected. Everything depends on everything else. The forest is not just a place, it is a system. A living network where every creature, no matter how small, has a role to play. Remove one piece, and the entire balance begins to shift. And perhaps the most mysterious part of this world is how little of it humans truly understand. Even today, there are areas of the Congo rainforest that remain unexplored. New species are still being discovered. New behaviors are still being studied. New mysteries still waiting in the dark. As rain begins to fall, the forest comes alive even more. Water drops hit the leaves like endless drums, rivers rise, animals move faster. The entire ecosystem responds like a single breathing organism. This is not chaos. This is harmony. In this hidden world of Africa, life is not a struggle for space. It is a struggle for connection. Everything is linked. Everything is dependent. Everything is alive in its own way. And deep within this endless green, one truth becomes clear, even in the darkest places. Life never stops finding a way. In the final chapter of Africa, the story shifts once again. After deserts of fire, after jungles of endless green, after rivers that carry both life and danger, we arrive at the most complex force on Earth, humanity. Africa is not only the birthplace of wild nature, it is also the birthplace of human history. Deep in its ancient soil, archaeologists have discovered evidence that early humans first evolved here. From these lands, the journey of humanity began, spreading across continents, shaping civilizations, and building the modern world. But even today, Africa still holds its ancient heartbeat, a rhythm that existed long before cities, long before borders, long before time was measured. In many parts of the continent, life still follows the old rules of nature. In rural savannas, people live close to wildlife, sharing space with elephants, lions, and hyenas. Every day is a balance between respect and survival. In desert regions like the vast Sahara Desert, communities have learned to live with scarcity. Water is precious, distance is vast, and survival depends on knowledge passed down through generations. In forest regions like the deep Congo rainforest, people live surrounded by dense life, where nature is both provider and challenge. Africa is not one story. It is thousands of stories living side by side. But the relationship between humans and nature has changed over time. As populations grow, cities rise, modern roads cut through ancient lands. Technology reaches places that were once untouched. Economies expand, industries grow, and development reshapes the landscape. Yet, even in this transformation, the wild still remains. In national parks, like the famous Serengeti National Park, ancient migrations still continue. Millions of animals still move across the plains in search of water and grass, just as they have for thousands of years. Lions still hunt. Elephants still lead their herds. Rivers still guide life. Nature has not disappeared, it has adapted, and so has humanity's understanding of it. Scientists now study ecosystems to protect them. Conservationists fight to preserve endangered species. Local communities work to balance survival with sustainability. There is a growing realization that Africa is not just a resource. It is a responsibility, because within this continent lies something irreplaceable. Biodiversity that cannot be recreated, ecosystems that cannot be rebuilt once lost, and ancient natural systems that have survived for millions of years. Every forest cleared, every species lost, every river polluted is a piece of that balance gone forever. Yet, there is also hope. Across Africa, protected areas are expanding. Wildlife populations are recovering in some regions. Conservation efforts are bringing species back from the edge of extinction. And perhaps most importantly, a new generation is rising. One that sees nature not as something to conquer, but something to protect. Africa today stands at a crossroads. One path leads toward uncontrolled destruction, where development comes at the cost of nature. The other path leads toward balance, where humans and the natural world exist together, not in conflict, but in harmony. And the truth is simple. Africa does not need to be saved. It needs to be understood, because it is not a dying world. It is a living one, a breathing one, a world that still follows ancient rhythms. Even as the modern world surrounds it, as the sun sets over the savannas, deserts, and rainforests of Africa, the continent does not end its story. It continues. Rivers still flow. Wildlife still moves. Humans still dream. And the land itself remains what it has always been. A place where life began and where life continues to evolve. In the end, Africa is not just a continent. It is a memory of Earth itself, a reminder that everything alive today is connected to something ancient. And as long as that connection exists, Africa's story will never end.